So now, if you are one of my level 4 thinkers, I just want to extend you a little bit. And so I'm going to show you on this slide how you can check your math. So if we were to find the difference, we would take our $5 bill and we would subtract the cost of our item, which is $3.65. And so what you would do is you would set it up just like you did at the beginning of the year when we were working with three-digit addition and subtraction, and you would line up all of your columns just like you did before, except for this time you have a decimal place. So you'd put $5 on the top and 0 cents on the other side of the decimal, and you would subtract $3.65, and you'd make sure that your penny column lines up, and you'd make sure your dimes column lines up, and then you'd have your decimal, and then you'd make sure that your dollar column also lines up. And the very first thing I always do before I do any subtraction is I put my decimal in my answer. So I always do that first. My decimals should be lined up in a column right on top of each other. And then I'm going to put my decimal place in the answer before I do anything else. And sometimes during that step, I also like to bring my dollar sign down into my answer because when I solve for my answer, I'm always wanting to remember that I'm using money. I'm counting money. My step 2. Now, when we have $5 and 0 cents and we have to subtract some change, we do have to do some regrouping. So I'm going to go over to my dollar column because there's 0 pennies, there are 0 dimes, and there are $5. So we can pretend that those are 5 loonies, for example. And I would take one away and I would be left with 4. And then I would take one of those loonies over to the other side of the decimal, and it's just regrouping just like we did before. We talked about last week that 1 loonie or $1 is equal to 10 dimes. And a lot of you did that when you were showing me the values for a dollar. So we would replace that loonie with 10 dimes. And again, I would take one of those dimes away and I would leave that column with 9 dimes. And I would take that 1 dime over to the pennies column, and that would be 10 pennies. So that's my regrouping. That's why I have 10 pennies, I have 9 dimes, and I have 4 loonies or $4. And that still equals to $5. I haven't changed the value, I've just done some regrouping. So now I'm going to start in step 3, I'm going to start my subtraction. So this is the easy part. Once the regrouping is done, I'm going to subtract 10 minus 5, and that is 5 pennies. And then I'm going to take my 9 dimes, I'm going to subtract 6 of them, and that gives me 3. And in the other side of my decimal and my dollars, I have $4, subtract $3, and that leaves me with $1.35. And if you go back to the last slide when we did our counting on, and we were adding all of those coins to $3.65, and we were stopping at $5. And if I added all of those coins that I added, that's the exact same value, $1.35. And then if you go to the next slide, I have another extension for you. So stay tuned for the last part of this lesson.